Welcome our coordinator webinar. Today is October 12th of 2017. Today we're on Anne Marie. She's going to be presenting, and through the slides and our other meetings we'll have other colleagues presenting various slides throughout our presentation. But Anne Marie is going to be our presenter for today and our host, Olga Escamilla. If you have any questions, you want to be sure to send them to everyone in the pod. I think everybody's familiar with the process, but just be sure that in the chat pod it's to send to everyone, because we want to be sure that everyone is able to see your questions and any responses that we might get. So hand it right to Anne Marie and we'll get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. Olga, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We're really looking forward to doing the PD coordinator webinars a little differently, so you can look forward to all of us kind of rotating, taking on the presenter role. So I hope that, hearing different voices throughout the webinar is a good thing as we move through doing this and rotating. It's a team effort, as Deb Hargrove said. That's exactly right. So let's go ahead and get started. I do have a packed agenda today, but please, as Olga said, just make sure to ask questions and we'll stop and we'll answer them as best we can. So basically, we've got a lot of announcements. We have some updates on the content standards that Beth is going to talk about. We'll just quickly touch on the new teacher 6-hour rule. And then we have some exciting news about the Teams tutorial clusters that Dr. Glenda Rose will be talking about. And I'm going to spend some time talking about the technicals, and then we do have two other topics having to do with links courses, which is not on here, but we're gonna touch on that too. So our agenda. And started though, I would like to warmly introduce 3 new staff members to TCAL, to the TCAL family. And starting at our left, we want to just welcome and share with you a little bit about Mia Conrad. And Mia Conrad is our new administrative assistant at TCAL, and she's in charge of the TCAL hotline and other customer service needs as needed, as well as answering PD portal questions. You may have already talked to Mia on the phone, so we are so happy to have Mia with us. And then we also have Yolanda Oliver, but she actually likes to be called Yoli. So Yoli Oliver is also an administrative assistant for TCAL, and she is bilingual in Spanish, and she is also working with some of the business and administrative end of things at TCAL. So we're so happy to have her here. And our latest staff member, which I think just started on Monday of this week, or possibly last week, is Laura Greer. She is coming to us, and she is going to be taking over the primary role of LMS coordinator. So primary role is going to be working with the PD portal, everything PD portal, but her official title is learning specialist, but she brings a strong background in K through 12. A teacher, and also has experience with online design and curriculum. So we want to welcome Laura to staff. So everybody just say a big welcome to everything. And okay, so Laura is actually 100% going to be focused on the PD portal. So thank you, Deb. Thank you so much. So welcome to these staff members. Announcements. Now, just as a reminder, we have the PD CIP plan, or the Personal Development CIP, is got a new due date of October 31st. And just as a reminder, there's not a new form. It's just updating the PD CIP. So thinking about some changes you want to make, and also as you're thinking about your PD CIP, really maybe looking at when the professional development is going to be due for your teacher, so it doesn't back up to the end of the year. So that's good. And it's a revision. It's a revision to your current PD CIP. Thank you, Beth. And so it's a revision, but not a new form, right, Beth? It's just the revision. Okay. So the next exciting announcement is the Genius Hour, and we just had one today, and it's the Thursday of every month, 12 to 1, so it's lunchtime. And what the Genius Hour is going to be, it's a hosted 1-hour webinar with Dr. Glenda Rose. And it is a time for you to log on and ask questions that you have about the PD portal. You know, burning questions, challenges you're having, new teachers that need to become familiar with the PD portal. This is an excellent time to do that. And so I encourage you to just remind your teachers because for teachers to ask questions. I'm on with Glenda Rose when she did it last month, and they were basic questions, but they were great questions. So know that that's available as a webinar the second day from 12 to 1. Okay, so now we're going to run through some conferences that are coming up, and the first one is the virtual COABE conference that is October 25th and 26th. Some of you may have seen earlier this week, it was cross-posted on the listservs about a membership opportunity. So I'm going to go next. Oh, and Dale has a question. Dale, did you want to ask a question or write it in the chat pod? Your hand is up. Do you want to
have any questions at this time?
Yeah, Dale's got her hand up.
Okay, so let's see, Dale. Dale? Document PD hours for the virtual conference. The COABE virtual conference.
Beth, do you want to jump in here, or I can try to answer that question?
That's an excellent question.
That's going to say. It's probably something we need to think about how we want to document that. Generally, with conferences, we ask programs to send us a list of the sessions that they attended. Virtual, though, we haven't had that before, so if it's going to be different sessions or not, let us think about one if you don't mind, and we'll send an email out with more clarification as that happens. Good question.
Mm-hmm. And documenting, Deb, if there's an agenda or a PowerPoint that goes with it just normally for documentation, just like any other webinars that people attend, if there's a agenda or a session at a glance that you can download, anything like that for back documentation as well.
Yeah, send something out.
Thank you for answering that question, Deb and Beth. So in regards to the virtual COABE conference October, we do have an opportunity. Teachers have an opportunity to discount, and this was sent out on the listservs. This week. Basically, Daily is offering a $50 discount. Now, an individual registration fee is $50, but as a a service from Kaylee, or if you're a member. Also reminded me that you do have to be a member of Kaylee to take advantage of this, but they're comping the $50. And on the screen here, you're going to see the steps, and this did go out on the listserv as well. And there is a coupon code, step number 2. So you go in and you register, but you have to just follow these directions and put in the comp code, and then it will deduct the $50. So I hope that is self-explanatory, but basically, if you're a Kaylee member, it's to attend this 2-day conference. So it's a very good opportunity, and as Anson said today on the call with the directors, they have good sessions. There are going to be a lot of great sessions. And that before we move on.
And had Risa put in a comment that last year they did give certificates. So teachers, if they attend, they should get, or anyone should get a certificate. Now, if that's for the day, by the session. So Risa says certificate for each session that you attend, so for documentation purposes.
Thanks so much, and I missed that. Okay, so that's great to know, Risa. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to move on. Now, here are a bunch of upcoming conferences that I just want to go over with everybody. Coming up in Galveston, and as I do this, Olga's going to put the link so that you can get more information about these conferences in the chat pod. So the first one that we have coming up is the College Academic Support Programs Conference. It's the CASP in Galveston, and that's going to be the 22nd and the 24th. So that's coming up. And then obviously we have the 21st Annual TWC Conference in Dallas that's coming in November 29th, December 1st. And we have the TXT-SOL 2017 conference, and it's in Houston this year. And it's important to remember that, and thanks to Dr. Glenda Rose for reminding us of this, and this has gone out on the listservs as well, that if you pre-register, it's $100 cheaper. So you have that are interested in going to the TXT-SOL conference, remember pre-registration is $100 cheaper. So that's good to know. And Olga will be putting that in the chat pod as well. So this one that we're excited to share with you is the 3rd Annual Technology and Distance Learning Symposium. And that's going to be offered in San Antonio, February 16th, 2018. Now, the call for proposals has gone out with a deadline for proposals of this Friday. And Olga has just put the link in the chat pod. It's a bit.ly link, and this is the call for proposals. If teachers on your staff or you who are on the call are working your way through the tech integration coaching that Dr. Glenda Rose has done, you are encouraged to submit a proposal, or any other teachers, and outlines what the content should be for the proposal. So we're very excited about that too. So then finally, it is also coming up in March is the Southwest by Southwest Conference in Austin. And I just wanted to share that with you as well. So we threw all of the conferences. Phew, not found. It may.
Which one? On which one? Bit.ly link? It could be because of the period at the end. Let me take the period off.
And we can put it up there again.
I'll try again. But there was a comment. There's a couple of comments. One, Harriet, and Harriet says that Anson Green announced in this morning's AEL Grant Director call that there will be many TWC conferences relevant to adult education and literacy.
Thank you
then
so much.
Lorraine said, is this a local program decision? What counts towards adult ed PD for TXT-SOL, since some sessions are geared to K through 12? It's a very good question. So again, is it a local decision? Oh, yes. From Deb Hargrove, yeah, it is a local decision. It would fall under the local decision category. Thank you. That's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you so much. So we're going to move on, and then we'll put that the Bitly code in the chat pod for the Technology DL Symposium. Okay, hand over the presenter rights to Beth Ponder, and she's going to talk about the content standards.
I will be very quick, Anne-Marie. Just a few updates to let everybody know, keep everybody in the loop on how things are going with the content standards, and it's been going great. Your instructors have been doing an incredible job completing their homework and all of their assignments in the community of practice. One that will be coming out shortly to the program directors is a gap analysis where we're going to be looking at aligning instructional resources to the content standards. This is a chart that has been created by John Stevenson at TWC. He did a really nice job of putting this together. There's a separate spreadsheet for ELA, one for mathematics, and one for ESL. And this is a project that will be happening in your programs this fall. Look at what instructional materials you have and making some alignment to standards, identifying where your gaps are, what are some next steps, and resources that you need and the local program to make that happen. The guidance should be coming out within the next couple of days. I reviewed the documents yesterday afternoon for a final copy edit. So literally very, very soon. You will have guidance coming from TWC as well as the templates for the gap analysis. And gap analysis will be due with your second quarter report, which will be January 15th, 2018. And go to the next slide for me.
Yeah, thank you. There you go.
Just so you know, registration is up for the kind of next phase of the content standards. We'll begin with a webinar, pre-webinar for the coaches on October 20th, and the face-to-face trainings, which will happen in 6 locations across state: Houston, Region 1, Dallas, Lubbock, and El Paso. So these registrations are all up in the portal and ready for your instructional coaches to register for. Some are still struggling a little bit with registering in the portal, and I get lots of questions. So as their PD coordinators, if you help me by helping them and supporting them to make sure that they're getting their registrations in a timely manner and helping them troubleshoot any issues they might have. From Liz, those are only for coaches. That's correct. The face-to-face trainings are for the instructional coaches, the content standards instructional coaches, and we will have some support webinars for program directors. We will probably do an ad hoc webinar towards probably the week of the 23rd of October to if they have any questions about the gap analysis, but that hasn't been set yet. And then after the face-to-face trainings are complete, right after Thanksgiving, we'll have another webinar to support the program directors. Reese is asking, they get to choose which one they attend. That's correct. So if the face-to-face conference training that's in your area, the date doesn't work for your coach, yes, they can go to another region. That's fine. We are not dictating that to you. The gap analysis is actually a requirement for your program director. My hope would be, and I haven't seen the actual guidance that's coming out from TWC, my hope would be that this would be a team approach to work on this gap analysis, but it would be a requirement of the program director. Any about content standards? Okay, feel free to put it in the chat pod, and we'll try and get back to it. And Anne-Marie, I'll pass it back to you.
All right. So much, Beth. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next topic we're gonna briefly touch on is the reminder of the new teacher 6-hour rule. And this really came about as a reminder to help teachers plan to complete their PD requirement reasonably and not wait till the 29th day of the 29th hour at 3 o'clock in the morning. That makes sense. So there is a requirement that within the first 30 days, the new teachers to adult education and literacy must get their 6 hours of professional development. But don't panic and don't let your teachers panic either. But I think the goal is planning, proper planning as to when and how they're going to get this done. And I just wanted to also, skip here, everybody that, and I'm not sure where that slide went. That's just not in there anymore. But remember, the requirement is in. Hold on a minute. I am going to share my screen for a minute because for some reason that is not in there. So
looks like you might have hidden it in the PowerPoint, Anne-Marie.
Well, I'm going to go ahead here in just a minute. Hold on. And let me just 1 second. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let me hear. Okay. So what I wanted to, and maybe that's what I did because it's hidden and not sure why. Okay, so we're not going to worry about that. Let me.
Well, you can see it though on your screen, so we can see it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. Yes,
Yep.
you can.
Yep.
Okay. So one thing I do want to share with everybody. Thank you, Deb. One I want to share is that we've gone over this rubric before, this sheet that guides the professional development requirements depending on what role people play in the program. So just as a reminder that if new EL, direct student service delivery, must have that 6 hours of professional development within 30 calendar days. And that 6 hours is broken down into 3 hours of PAL and 3 hours of literacy, and that of the staff qualifications and training requirements. So that's just a brief reminder. And again, in the past, we have had some teachers that have waited till that 29th hour and then have wanted things graded automatically. So just be patient and just let teachers know that a little proper planning is helpful so that they don't wait till the last minute. Because as Glenn has reminded us in the past, there is a live person on the other end grading homework if it's a course in the PD portal. There is a live human being grading homework, so it does take time. And we see we have questions.
So Wendy Christensen has a question. Is it 30 calendar days from hire date or start of instruction date?
So
Deb says it's 30 days of providing instructional activities. Or
yes, so it says personal development within 30 calendar days of providing instructional activities. So 30 days from the start date of providing those instructional activities.
I had a question. Is this in the new AL guide?
So, but I can check it out.
Yeah, where this is, Tiffany, this is located, and we can go out and I can show you again. This actually is part of the policy rules and guidelines on the TWC website. So if you go to the website, it will actually show you. So let's go there for just a minute. Okay. Okay. So first, okay, hold on just a minute.
While you're, Anne Marie, Liana wants to know if it's the start of the first class day, correct? And Deb said AAL guide. Deb, are you saying yes for start of the first class day?
Yes, it's the
Okay.
it's within 30 days of providing the instructional activity, meaning 30 days from the first day that that teacher starts. Students starts in the classroom.
class.
Right. So I had this question the other day from another colleague. So you could have a new teacher who you've had for 3 weeks that hasn't been in class or started working with students yet, and the person was panicking, but according to these rules, it has to be 30 days from the time that teacher starts working with a student in a classroom. Okay.
Here it is. Tracy just put it in the chat, but I want to show you. If you look on the screen right now, if we go back, there's always where you can get to the TWC page. We're on the front page of the TCAL website, and it says TWC page is right here. And if you go here, you come down to policy and guidance and go to the Texas AEL rules. And if you click that, you will see just what Tracy was saying. Thank you, Tracy. And you can find it actually in the rules right here where it is for Tech Chapter 805, Adult Education and Literacy. And then if you click on that, it will take you actually to, it will break it down for you in the letters. And it will bring it down. So there right here is staff qualifications. Yep. So I hope it helped a little bit. Let me go ahead and click back at. Let me go back. Let's see here.
Yes, we had a question from Leslie. And she said, what if we're getting it from teacher staff hire date?
Well, I mean, if you choose to do that, that's just, you're getting it earlier.
Yeah, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, you're ahead of the game. So that's fine, Leslie.
Are there any other questions about the 30-day rule before we go on? And we
Beth,
can,
I'm sorry. Beth will mention that there's frequently asked questions under resources from that page.
And that's exactly right. So if we, okay, so let me just do one more thing. Taking a cue from Dr. Glenda Rose, I'm going to share my screen again. And if you look up at the far, in the right-hand corner of my screen up here where it says resources, if you scroll down to FAQs, that's what Beth is talking about. And that's a very good area to look at and review because it answers a lot of questions. The other thing is this is the staff qualifications and training requirements right here, that link right there. So we won't spend too more time, but that's also will take you right to that section that answers those questions. Okay. Stop sharing. And we'll go back to the presentation. Okay, so the next slide is Glenda. And I'm not.
It's not on.
Okay. So, Deb, are you able?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't realize that Glenda's not on. Yeah, the only thing we wanted to share here is I know some of you. I don't know if you guys are on the calls in the morning that every other Thursday that Anson Green shares with the program directors. If you ever have a chance to listen in, but one of the things that they talked about today were Teams technical assistance courses. We have those. We talked about this last month. We have those in the portal as technical assistance in the form of a library where you access them at any time and they don't ever expire. We had a question from a program about their data entry clerk. Why wouldn't this count as professional development for entry clerk? Because that's instruction for their job. So what we've done is grouped them together in different clusters and created these teams technical assistant clusters for PD hours. So if you have a data entry clerk who needs that professional development time, those hours, they can certainly use these Teams technical assistance clusters to sign up for, so they will get the credit. But we're able to give the professional development credit to the entry folks, those team folks, because that is part of their job. That's what it was about, Anne-Marie. Do you want to go?
Yep, I had myself on mute, sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
All right, so let's go to the next slide. Thank you, Deb.
Yep.
All right. So I would like to go over some Tech Intel updates. There's been a lot of activity with the Tech Intels, and I want to share with you some new updates and some things coming up. The exciting new update right now is that many of you are probably familiar with or have heard the name Haida Spruck-Wrigley, or have been lucky enough to go to a presentation with her or a workshop with her. She has done work in Texas. I know she's done a lot of work with the Far West Socorro ISD Consortium. So we're lucky enough to have Haida Spruck-Wrigley presenting on November 9th and 10th, and then November 16th and 17th. And what's going to be presented on is a wonderful series called We Are New York. And she actually was on the advisory board for that project. And it's a video series focused for ESL learners or ESL learners that have just transferred to adult basic education. So we're excited. I hope that you mark your calendar for November 9th and 10th, and then November 16th and 17th. It will be a part two, part two, and she's really going to be drilling down and focusing on how to use the We Are New York series during direct instruction and also the flipped classroom model. So I encourage you to tune into those. And then, okay, next thing, and I have a question. Olga?
Yes, we had a. It is about on the Teams cluster. She just for Teams cluster and received a message that there were no matches. She will search.
I'll check on that and I'll get back with you.
Okay.
Hey. Thanks to Glenna and to Deb, we have a wonderful new feature on the front page of the PD portal. I do want to show you very quickly, but if you see here, this is a screenshot of the welcome page of the PD portal, and we have a new button now, and it's a green button that says Tech Intels. And this is, sometimes in the past, some of you have emailed me and said, I can't find a Tech Intel webinar, or my teachers, I want my teachers to go to this Tech Intel webinar, and sometimes it's hard to find them all, or you may want to just quickly find one. So if you click on that button, you're going to get a list. So what we'll do is I'm going to quickly go into the PD portal. But any of you know, if you click on that button, if we have time, we'll go back, but I don't want to run out of time either. We'll go back. But if you click on that button, you're going to get an entire list, every single Tech Intel that's in the PD portal as a course that your teachers can watch to receive credit. So that's available now. So the next page is that I wanted to, yes.
I think there was about November 10th date.
Okay.
It's back, I think.
Okay.
Is it November 9th and 10th, or November 9th or November 10th?
The it's or is because it's the same webinar. So part 1 is always on Thursday night and Friday morning. So 8 to 9, Tech and Tells are always from 8 to 9 p.m. or 11:30 to 12:30 on Friday morning. So it's either or because it's the same webinar. If teachers go to both, they're going to see the same thing. So they can watch it twice, but they'll only get credit for attending once. Does that make sense? I hope that cleared it. Did that make sense? So November 16th or 17th. So
they can attend one or the other.
Exactly.
Okay.
Attend one or the other, Thursday night or Friday morning, same webinar. Thank you for asking that question and clarifying. Okay. And so we talked about the button, the new Tech and Tell button. And the next thing that I want to share with everybody is that the Tech and Tells have been going on now for over 2 years, for about 2.5 years almost now. And as PD coordinators, I want to encourage you to think about how your teachers may take the courses that are in the PD portal. So I have talked in the past about things called literacy clusters, and these will count as literacy PD for the teachers. Count as literacy. If you go on these courses in the PD portal, you'll see that it's labeled as literacy, which means it counts as a literacy PD. So you've had several that have strong instructional focus. And although it's a tech tool, it really drills down and focuses on how to use that tool for instruction. So listed some of them here, and there's one on mind mapping, learning students' vocabulary. Let's Calculate It with Krista Mosier that talks about how to use the calculators for the high school equivalency exams. That's an excellent webinar. There's one on text evidence and a resource called ReadWorks on assessment strategies and reading profiles with Marie Cora, who's national presenter for Links. And coming soon is going to be Common Lit Part 1 and Part 2, and that is going to be talking about a resource called Common Lit and to teach how to use that to teach reading. So you add all up, that's 7 hours of professional development for literacy for your teachers. So I think that is pretty powerful stuff. So we wanted to share that. Now, on the same token, Olga Escamilla has done several Tech and Tells, and we've been several career pathway cluster Tech and Tells that we've featured with integration focus. So there is a common Part 1 and Part 2 that is available right now in the PD portal and is presented by Olga Escamilla. And then the Texas Reality Check is another resource through WC. And this is Career Check Part 1 and Part 2. And that's SIP and SAW codes. Now, Texas Career Check, SIP SAW codes were presented by Christina Mason from Workforce Solutions for Tarrant County, and those will be in the PD portal soon. And those will also count as literacy professional development for the teachers, because again, there's an integration focus on how you integrate these resources into the classroom or as a career navigator. So I want to really share that with all of you.
Marie? Before we continue, we have the Teams cluster slide again.
Yeah, it was something I was going to update in just a moment when you went to the next slide.
Okay, so continue and then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Yes, hi, everybody. So what I failed to share with you on Glenda's behalf is those Teams clusters, they're only available if you're in the PD coordinator group. So I have to go back and make sure, Dale, that you're in that PD coordinator group because these are going to be counted as PD hours. The PD coordinator will need to assign those to the data entry people, require an approval. That's why, and I have to check to see if you're in the PD coordinator group. That might be why you're not seeing them. But yes, if you typed in, as a PD coordinator, if you type in Teams cluster, you'll see them. They do show up. But you'll need to, view it, and you have the names of the people that are the data entry people that you want to assign that training to. You'll click on it, and then you'll see a button that says either request it or assign. And those of you who have done a lot of assigning of training or know what I'm talking about. But if you do have any issues and you still can't find it, please give us a call or email the pdportal@tamu.edu, and someone will be able to help you. So Dale, I hope that, yes it does. Okay, good. I hope that answers your question. The thing I wanted to talk about briefly was a links assessment course that is starting in, I think, next week? October 30th. Yeah, October 30th. Tracy Hendricks in our office has taken this course through Links. It's a free course. It's approximately 12 hours, 2 hours a week for 6 weeks. It talks about the different types of assessment, defines what formative assessment is, and some of our teachers don't really understand the different types of assessment, including formative assessment or summative assessment. And formative assessments are needed throughout the instructional cycle, so students are ready for post-testing. As you're going through where they are and reaching their goals. So this course really gives a good, strong understanding of formative assessment. It allows teachers to use these concepts to measure whether or not students are meeting their goals, and then helps you as a teacher work with them to get those goals met. So this is a free course through Links. It's a facilitated course with Marie Kra, who I think we've talked about on occasion. She's a great trainer. And we just wanted to share that information. I'm going to pull up the guide link. It's also a bit link, and I'll put it in the chat pod for you guys.
Thanks. We have another question. I think it's related to the cluster. S said, is it restricted to the PD coordinators only, or can staff that have approver access be able to approve as well?
Yeah, can. That is correct. I think, let me double check it, but I think that's correct. Is the way it's set up is manager approval also.
Okay, another question about and this is for the career pathway clusters. It says how many literacy PD hours can be earned through the Tech Intel career pathway clusters?
For an hour each, so it depends on how many she has in the cluster.
Weld up the slide, Deb, and we can actually.
I see it.
There's 7 hours.
7 hours, yeah.
Exactly, Kay. There's 7 hours here. Skills Commons Part 1, 2 would be 2 hours. Then Texas Reality Check, that's 3 hours. Texas Career Check Part 1 and 2 is
would mean 5 hours. You're up to 5.
Yeah, and I missed something here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so only 6. Yes, 6 hours for career pathways clusters. And this is just an example of some that work together, but I encourage you to go and look at some of the career pathways webinars, but these are most of them. So this gives you 6 hours to answer your question.
About the team. Has the course been added to Teams, or do we have to notify you when staff has completed the Links course?
I could check it right now.
Okay. And Trace, it's a wonderful training, and she learned so much about this Links, the different types of form assessments that can be used in the classroom, and it's well worth their time.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Deb. Now on to another links, more links courses that are now in the PD portal. And this was brought to us by the hard work of Glenda Rose and some other people on staff who really worked through the courses. So what these are links contextualized instruction courses that you can actually take online links, but they're now available in the PD portal. And they really designed to be taken, all of them to be taken. So you have a part 1, which is understanding contextualized instruction. Then a part 2, which is building contextualized lessons. And there's a part 3, overcoming developing challenges. And Glenda Rose has worked to make it, adapted it for our Texas content, our Texas audience, and our Texas resources. So this is also exciting because this can be counted as either Lit PD, or Prindle Learning PD. So it's E1. So you've got 3 hours of literacy development of if teachers take these courses. Again, it's well worth your time. They are wonderful courses and are available now in the PD portal. Next slide is Deb and or Glenda.
I'll take it. This is our slide. Houston, we have a problem. So I don't know how many of you actually use the global search function, but we're glitched. So the only thing that should be showing up in the search box should just be the curriculum, those stacks of books, and any face-to-face training, what you see on the second right-hand side of the slide. So we do a global search. All you should be seeing is that stack of books and that calendar icon, and even that library, that building. Andrea, I don't know if you can annotate or not, but what's happening is on the left-hand side of the slide, when you start to type something into the global search, before you hit that search button, you start to see a drop-down of a number of different items, that totally different icon associated with them. It's sort of like the precursor to what you're going to see on the final page when you hit submit. That's a glitch in the system. Those are items that we have in the portal that are not associated individually with a certificate. They're items that are part of a curriculum that equal the certificate. We didn't realize it until someone last week said, I took the goal-driven learning course, and it doesn't give me a certificate. And we looked the person up, and it showed in their transcript that they had taken that first option there, goal-driven learning, the little monitor, but then take the quiz because they weren't in the actual curriculum. And so that gave us oh my gosh, we have to submit a customer service ticket. So we've submitted the ticket to the Cornerstone folks, and we're waiting for them to fix that glitch. But we wanted to make you aware, when you see something like that pop up, when you actually hit the enter, when you get to the final search results, you're going to see those things that are properly displayed. The curriculum, the event, or the library. Lisa, I see here's the name of the goal setting training that is okay for this year. Goal-driven learning. There's no year in front of it. It's actually the very first option on this slide on the hand side. Goal-driven learning is the current course for this year. Have any questions about that? And training options are the little stack of books. The coordinator, we do have some How Do I videos on the front page of the portal, and that'll give an understanding of the different types of things you have in the portal and what the different icons mean. Okay. Questions about the portal? I'm going to go ahead and type the portal email address in the chat pod. Please feel free to email directly to the PD portal email because we have about 5 people who have access to that email account. So if myself or Anne Marie or Glenda are out of office or out of training or out of the country, what have you, somebody else on our team has access to that account. They can answer your question.
Yeah, Laura, exactly. Okay, thank you, Deb, so much. And I did also, we've talked a lot about the tech and tells, but I do want to also remind everybody because it happened very often. And I'm excited to just announce to everybody that next week we are going to be having a tech and tell with Ashley Winkle, but also Risa Wingfield will be on next week to talk about HyperDocs, which is this amazing way to use technology in the classroom, but also as a supervisor or a director. So I know Risa's on, and I just wanted to put a plug in because I'm so excited to have them both presenting on Tech and Tell, and it is going to be a 2-part Tech and Tell. So mark your calendars for that next week as well. You should, because I'm so happy that you're on. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. So we are coming to the end. We have come to the end with 10 minutes left.
And Marie, can I
yes.
jump in real quick? I want to
Yes.
clarify something about the clusters, the team's clusters for credit.
Oh, hi, Linda.
Hey. So I just want to clarify that if you assign it, it's not going to require the approval. Signing by their PD coordinator, it's not going to require an approval. The reason I put the approval requirement is if by chance, in the wonderful little glitch that we have, they find it and sign up for it themselves, then it will come to you for you to approve them to take that course. Does that make sense? So you don't approving it for everybody you assign it to, but if somebody gets into it without first finding you and having it assigned, then you'll have to approve it.
Question. Can you cover how to gain access to the pre-work for face-to-face training such as multi-level?
Glenn, and show that.
I can let me give her.
I'm the trained PD.
And
Oh, okay.
the question, and while Glenda's starting, is instructors are required to have a total of 15 PD hours, including a PAL and 6 lit and 6 at the progression. What happens if someone gets more PAL lit? The number of hours required for AP. For example, if someone accumulates 4 hours PAL, and do they still need 6 hours APD?
I'm trying to understand this.
Well, I would say
I
that,
understand what she's asking.
well, if they needed 3 hours of PAL and they did 4,
Right.
and then they needed 6 hours of lit, but they did 9.
Well, they've still got to have 15 hours. So they had the minimum of 3 PAL and slit, and still, if more hours, it can be the program's discretion. They do
The remaining
9 hours of lit and 6 hours of PAL. And at program discretion means at program discretion. You can do as many as you want as long as you have the minimum in each category. I think you're asking Kay.
Yes, sounds like it.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I think so. I'm trying to, you can see which trained PD is
Yeah,
because I made a
thank
mistake
you.
when I came in.
Okay.
My is up, and I am not the host.
All right, hold on. I'm trying. There you are. Okay, I'm. There you go. You've got the
Okay,
ball.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sorry, everybody up today. Trying to do too many things in one day. First of all, as far as finding the pre and post work, please know it's part of 2 webinars right here. How to find pre and post work. That's probably the first thing to say. But also, in script, if you have pre and post work, what you'll want to do. Let me go to an event. Denise, do you know anybody who's scheduled for that? Well, is details, and you'll be able to see the pre and post work. Because my computer's going very slow.
Bridget.
Richard Bentley?
No, Bridget. Bridget. Bidget.
Okay.
Bentley.
I hope she's not all right now. I'll close all these other things. It's just spinning and spinning. So watch 2 videos, Denise. If you're still not sure how to do it, Connie and I will get on a private WebEx with you where I can probably get to a lot faster. But it is inside of the training details for the event. So instead, click on training details, view training details, and you'll scroll to it and you'll see the pre and post. Or I could do it this how-to video. How to find pre and post. Here you go. There you go. How do I pre and post? So over a little bit, go in details, that. Make it bigger. Event that has it. You do have to change it to completed. And if you inside of those details, you'll see the pre and the post work did there. Make it pretty easy to see how to do it, and then I don't have to fight with Cornerstone to give me some band. You gotta love technology work the way you want it to. Okay, I'm gonna give it back.
Okay. There's a question from Denise Johnson. It stated that we did not have access. So, PD portal question.
Did not as to what, Denise? To the perk. Get that one. Email Tamu and just exactly what it is that the issue is so we can have a record of it and make sure we answer it correctly. At tamu.edu.
Okay, I think we have come to the end, and I'm going to see if there's any other questions. Were there any other questions before we end today? I want to thank everybody for joining. I also want to thank my colleagues, Olga, for hosting, and for everybody jumping in and helping and answering questions. So take care, everybody, and have a wonderful Friday and a good weekend. And I'm just going to see if there's any other questions.
And second till tonight.
Yes, that too. Everybody, take care.